let's go here. Like, I don't want to go to this gay event. Like, we could go to this club. This is more popping. You know what I'm saying? Plus, Busta invited us in the section. You don't miss out on an opportunity like that.
In a shocking turn of events, Busta Rhymes finds himself in the spotlight after his baby mama's no-holds-barred revelations. According to her, Busta allegedly had some eye-opening late-night escapades with multiple men, all happening in their shared bed. She's not pulling any punches, and the details are sparking conversations across the board. Surprising as it may sound, whispers have followed Busta for years. For someone who built a public persona on being tough and masculine, these claims suggest a very different reality behind the scenes. Adding fuel to the fire are allegations of his close relationship with none other than Diddy. Rumors suggest that their bond went far beyond collaborating on music, with some claiming they shared intimate moments that have allegedly been documented. Insiders are also buzzing about their supposed type, young, attractive men making their way into the industry. It's been said that Busta's over-the-top displays of hypermasculinity might have been an effort to deflect from these rumors. Could this explain why he's consistently portrayed a hardcore image when it comes to women? The question on everyone's mind, are these claims true? And if so, does undeniable proof exist? If tapes surface, the repercussions could be game-changing. For Busta, this isn't just a matter of personal scandal. Critics have long pointed to his tumultuous history with women, including allegations of toxic behavior and questionable treatment of his baby mama. Her recent comments, combined with these latest allegations, are forcing fans and industry insiders alike to reevaluate what they thought they knew about Busta Rhymes. Busta Rhymes first crossed paths with his high school sweetheart, Joanne Wood, back when their worlds couldn't have been more different. She was a soft-spoken, sweet-natured girl from a stable, middle-class family, while Busta was already carving out a reputation as a bold, hungry rapper from Brooklyn. At that time, he was repping a crew associated with the 5% Nation, chasing dreams of making it big in the hip-hop scene. For Joanne, it was all new territory. She was a regular girl who didn't quite know what she was signing up for. Despite their stark differences, the two started dating, and before long, they were living together. But it didn't take long for cracks to start appearing in their relationship. In an interview with the New York Post, Joanne didn't hold back, describing their time together as toxic right from the start. They didn't just have a difference in background, they clashed over everything. Everyday squabbles about toothpaste caps and toilet seats quickly escalated into full-blown arguments. According to Joanne, prematurely, surviving only a few hours, it was an unimaginable loss for both Joanne and Busta. Despite this heartbreak, they held on and eventually welcomed their son, Taziah, in 1994. Busta's career was in overdrive at this point. He had launched Flip Mode Records under Elektra, and his albums were flying off store shelves. Joanne, however, stayed out of the limelight. She wasn't about joining him on stage or being front and center at events. She chose a quieter life, focusing on raising their son, while Busta hit the road to cement his superstar status. But don't get it twisted. Joanne wasn't staying home because she preferred the simple life. Tensions in their relationship were growing, and by the mid-90s, things were unraveling quickly. In 1997, it all came to a head when rumors swirled that Joanne had caught Busta in their bed with another woman. The fallout was explosive. Gossip reports claimed that Joanne didn't just confront him, she lost her cool in a big way, damaging his car and even pulling out several of his dreads. Joanne and Busta's relationship didn't end cleanly. Despite years of on and off turmoil, Joanne later revealed that Busta had proposed to her 3 separate times, each time promising the world, and each time falling short of making it to the altar. According to Joanne, if Busta was cheating, she didn't have solid proof back then, but she wasn't naive. She knew what the music industry scene was like, and suspicions lingered. Even so, they stayed together long enough to welcome 2 more sons, Taki and Trillian. Yet the relationship continued to spiral. While Joanne was at home holding down the fort, Busta was out living the high life, and his affairs were becoming increasingly public. In 1999, things hit a tipping point when Busta was officially confirmed as the father of a baby girl named Mariah after her mother, Jill, known as Miss Kelly, took him to court for child support. That same year, another woman, Rhonda, gave birth to his second daughter, Casey. For Joanne, this was the breaking point. After enduring years of deceit, broken promises, and blatant betrayal, she finally walked away from the chaos. But even then, Busta didn't let her go easily. Instead, he initiated a bitter courtroom battle over custody, turning their personal turmoil into a highly publicized legal war. Picture this: Busta Rhymes, a touring artist constantly on the move, suddenly deciding he deserved full custody of his 3 kids. The same man drowning in child support battles with multiple baby mamas, now arguing that he could provide a more stable home? The audacity. Busta's argument boiled down to one point. Joanne had started seeing a woman, and he claimed that lifestyle wasn't good for the children. No allegations of neglect or abuse, just her relationship. To make matters worse, Busta alleged that one of their sons walked in on Joanne and her girlfriend in an intimate moment. Joanne's lawyer hit back with a simple truth. Where else would she spend time with her partner but in the privacy of her own bedroom? Despite the lack of any concrete evidence of harm, the court sided with Busta. Joanne was granted limited visitation, just twice a week and every other weekend, while Busta was awarded full custody. The irony? Busta was still on the road, constantly touring. The kids didn't stay with him. Instead, they went to live with his mother in New York. For Joanne, this was devastating. It seemed like the case was less about the kids' well-being and more about making a point. The outcome left her heartbroken, feeling like the battle wasn't truly about parenting. This whole custody battle felt more like a personal vendetta than anything else. Busta seemed to be retaliating after Joanne left and embraced her new relationship. It's hard not to ask the obvious question: why fight so fiercely for full custody just to have the kids stay with someone else? Joanne didn't shy away from the truth. She admitted that Busta could be a great dad when he actually took the time to engage with the kids. They even managed to find some common ground on occasion. But as she put it, this wasn't about co-parenting. It was about Busta's ego. "You're not hurting me, you're hurting the kids," she said bluntly. And it only got worse from there. According to Joanne, Busta's mother would openly badmouth her in front of the children. "My kids can quote her word for word, especially my oldest," Joanne revealed. The insults weren't subtle, ranging from calling Joanne a gold digger to labeling her a worthless lesbian. The damage was clear. The children were old enough to understand these comments, and the impact was undeniable. Meanwhile, Busta wasn't exactly keeping things civil. While promoting his album, The Big Bang, he went on a New York radio station and took a cheap shot at Joanne. "No more child support check for you, worthless baby mother," he declared, taking such a public dig at the mother of his children. That was a new low, even for him. By the time everything reached a boiling point, Joanne wasn't willing to stay silent anymore. She was fed up with being dragged through the mud by Busta while he, reportedly, had skeletons of his own locked away. Sources claimed Joanne had receipts, concrete evidence of what Busta was allegedly up to behind closed doors. This wasn't just about the drama, it was about breaking a long-kept silence on his personal life. For years, whispers about Busta's supposed preferences had been circulating in the industry. Rumors of his interest in young, up-and-coming men were well known within certain circles, but they were often brushed under the rug. Even when talk show host Wendy Williams hinted at these rumors years earlier, Busta had managed to shut her down before the chatter could gain traction. But Joanne wasn't Wendy. She had a closer perspective, and her claims made people sit up and listen. Wendy Williams had always been one of the few brave enough to call out what she saw as a hidden culture in the entertainment world, men who masked their private lives with tough, hyper-masculine personas. When she tried to expose Diddy, she faced a major backlash, with Diddy's team going all out to discredit her and even jeopardize her career. Despite the risk, Wendy stood her ground. She had long suspected Busta was part of that same down-low crowd that operated under the radar. In the years that followed, her suspicions seemed to gain weight. More men began to come forward, sharing stories about Busta's alleged private life, which included claims of intimate encounters that had nothing to do with nightclub bottle service. Among the most jaw-dropping allegations came from none other than Orlando Brown, adding another layer to the swirling speculation around Busta's personal world. While the rumors about Busta's private life swirled louder, Joanne's revelations began to cast long shadows over his public image. People started looking back at moments they'd once dismissed, questioning his overly aggressive bravado, his loud confrontational style, and his repeated assertions of dominance in a way that now felt like overcompensation. The stories trickling out were more than just whispers. Alleged encounters, claims of secret relationships, and a pattern of behavior that many felt had been hiding in plain sight. Adding fuel to the fire was the steady parade of new voices from within the industry, some boldly hinting at their own experiences or sharing secondhand accounts that seemed to fit the puzzle. And it wasn't just people pointing fingers. Some observers began to see a larger pattern, questioning how many high-profile figures might be living double lives under the pressure of industry expectations. Busta's case, with Joanne at the center, became a kind of lightning rod for larger conversations about identity, authenticity, and the complex, often toxic dynamics of fame. But for Joanne, this wasn't just about exposing Busta for the world's entertainment. Busta taking extreme measures to maintain control. Everything from calling in favors with old industry contacts to making legal threats against those daring to speak out. He wasn't just trying to quiet the noise, he was trying to rewrite the narrative altogether. Joanne, however, wasn't budging. With every veiled denial or dismissive statement from Busta's camp, she pushed back harder, hinting that she had even more damaging information tucked away. The ongoing battle wasn't just about who could dominate the headlines. It was a deeply personal war, one that had spilled out into the open after years of tension simmering beneath the surface. In the court of public opinion, people were divided. Some fans continued to defend Busta, dismissing the rumors as just that, rumors, while others were starting to believe Joanne's side of the story. Blogs, podcasts, and social media posts dissected every new detail, fueling a media frenzy. And with each new twist, Busta's once impenetrable image began to show cracks, making everyone wonder how long he could keep up the charade. Orlando Brown has never been one to hold his tongue, and a few years back, he set the internet ablaze with claims about high-profile industry figures he'd allegedly been involved with. Among the names he mentioned were Diddy and Busta Rhymes. While some dismissed his comments as attention-seeking or questionable due to his past controversies, others believed he was dropping these revelations on purpose, part of a strategy to stay in the public eye and avoid being silenced. But it wasn't just Orlando stirring the pot. Busta's former bodyguard, known as Big Homie CC, also stepped forward with his own explosive accounts. According to Big Homie, Busta's reputation behind the scenes was nothing short of zesty. He claimed that Busta had a clear pattern when it came to his club appearances. If he was going to spend big money, he expected the VIP area to be stocked with the most attractive men available. Big Homie even recounted one specific night at a club when Busta zeroed in on a clean-cut lawyer who had caught his eye. From the moment Busta spotted him, he was reportedly relentless, urging the man to join him in the VIP section. Once the lawyer finally agreed, Busta ensured that he didn't leave his side, partying with him throughout the night. One of Big Homie's most striking observations was how differently Busta acted around men compared to women. While Busta was often dismissive, sometimes outright hostile towards female fans, he had a completely opposite demeanor with good-looking men. He was welcoming, attentive, and seemingly eager to keep their company, a stark contrast that didn't go unnoticed by those who spent time around him. Big Homie's account, whether believed or not, painted a picture that added yet another layer to the swirling rumors surrounding Busta Rhymes' private life. Busta's interactions with female fans have long raised eyebrows. He's been caught on multiple occasions snapping at women for seemingly trivial reasons, like refusing a selfie or reacting harshly to a fan simply showing enthusiasm. For some, it only added fuel to the speculation, giving off vibes that his frustration might stem from deeper issues with women or that gay neighborhood, accompanied by a striking trans model. The two allegedly looked comfortable, like they were a genuine couple returning from a pride event. This sighting left many fans startled, though those familiar with the whispers weren't surprised. As the story goes, Busta's presence there didn't seem like a random detour. He moved through the area like someone who knew exactly where he felt at home. As the stories piled up, so did the skepticism from longtime fans. Some felt the rumors and alleged encounters couldn't all be coincidence, while others staunchly defended Busta, claiming the tales were fabricated or blown out of proportion. But it wasn't just online chatter or hearsay anymore. The pattern of allegations from multiple sources was hard to ignore. One former promoter claimed Busta would frequently request private after-parties where the guest list was carefully curated. He described these events as exclusive gatherings that raised eyebrows because of how secretive they were and who was invited. It wasn't just industry insiders who noticed. Some attendees started sharing their own accounts of Busta being unusually comfortable and open at these small, selective events. The consistent nature of these stories left people wondering, was it all just a series of misunderstandings, or was there something more to Busta's offstage life that he was trying to keep under wraps? Meanwhile, Busta's public appearances continued to tell a different story. He maintained his macho image, brushing off questions and deflecting attention away from the rumors. He doubled down on his persona as a larger-than-life entertainer, showing no signs of acknowledging the swirling speculation. Yet, the more he dodged the rumors, the more persistent they became, creating a growing divide between what fans saw on stage and what people were whispering about behind the scenes. Despite the mounting whispers, Busta's career continued to thrive publicly. He was still selling out venues, dropping chart-topping collaborations, and staying relevant in a fiercely competitive industry. To his loyal fans, he remained the same high-energy performer they'd admired for decades. But behind the scenes, the stories didn't fade. They multiplied. More and more individuals, from old associates to industry insiders, came forward with anecdotes that seemed to align all too neatly with the ongoing rumors. One former associate, who worked closely with Busta during the early 2000s, hinted that his offstage persona was markedly different from his public image. They recounted how Busta was particularly guarded about his personal life, rarely allowing anyone to get close enough to see the full picture. However, the same source claimed that those who did get a glimpse often walked away with questions that remained unanswered. They described a man who worked tirelessly to maintain a hyper-masculine, no-nonsense image while steering clear of any topic that might expose a more vulnerable side. Meanwhile, as the internet became more relentless, speculative forums and blogs began piecing together various threads of Busta's personal life. Every club appearance, every late-night sighting, and every whispered comment was dissected and scrutinized. Fans and skeptics alike debated whether the sin. Karine Steffens offered blunt commentary, stating that while Busta may be physically well-endowed, he seemingly lacked the ability to use it in a way that satisfied his partners. "All that meat and no heat," she wrote, highlighting the stark contrast between his alpha male persona and what she described as an unimpressive performance behind the scenes. Adding to this complicated picture are Busta's public remarks over the years. Despite the mounting rumors and whispers, he has repeatedly made homophobic comments that some interpret as overcompensation. In one widely cited incident from 2006, a fan congratulated him by tapping him on the shoulder, and Busta reportedly erupted, hurling slurs and displaying a level of hostility that struck many as extreme. The New York Post reported the incident, along with other occasions where Busta's comments about LGBTQ+ individuals drew heavy criticism. When asked in 2007 about the potential for a gay rapper to succeed in hip-hop, Busta refused to engage, ending the discussion abruptly by walking out. In the current cultural climate, with openly queer artists like Lil Nas X thriving, Busta's alleged past behavior and remarks have left many questioning his true self. Is Busta Rhymes hiding a secret life? And do these long-standing rumors, particularly about connections to figures like Diddy and the rumored freak-off parties, hold any truth? As speculation grows, so does the public's curiosity about whether this larger-than-life rapper has been concealing a more complex reality all along.